Hey family, it's your boy Rick Joyner, and you're watching Smooth Grooves TV, being brought to you by the Life Lux Jazz Experience. It happens November 7th through the 11th in beautiful Los Cabos, Mexico. And for those of you that follow me on social media, you know that that's also my birthday, November 7th, and we are going to celebrate the birthday, and you're invited to my birthday party in beautiful Los Cabos, Mexico, November 7th through the 11th for the Life Lux Jazz Festival with some of the greatest names like Kirk Whalum, Gerald Albright, Ronnie Laws, Roy Ayers, Incognito, Pieces of a Dream, and so many other great smooth jazz artists. Go to lifeluxjazz.com and sign up for the Life Lux Jazz Experience and my birthday party. Make sure you use the code RJE. That's code RJE. And join us in Los Cabos. We'll be right back with a great interview with one of the greatest guys to ever pick up a horn. Najee is here with us on Smooth Grooves TV. Welcome back to Smooth Grooves TV. I'm your host, Rick Joyner, and as I promised you, he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Najee, man. How you doing?
What's up, Rick? How you doing, my friend?
Man, I am incredible. I'm better now that I see you again.
Yes, sir.
It's been a while.
It has.
And I was remembering the last time I saw you, you were in concert with Roberta Flack here in Atlanta, and it was just an awesome experience to listen to you live for the first time. It's been about 21 years ago, man.
Wow.
But I remember when Najee's theme came out, and I was like, who is this guy? And before you, David Sanborn was like the go-to guy on the horn, but then you came along, man, and just really kind of changed the game.
Well, I don't take any credit for that, man. I mean, I think it was an industry that helped do that back then, I mean, we had real record labels backing us up, so it was quite a different game, financially speaking, in terms of what was behind us.
Yes, the machine, as
exactly.
we used to call it back in the day. Yeah,
that's right.
But your music speaks for itself.
Well, thank you, sir.
And great meat. There's a saying that says, "Good meat makes its own gravy."
Right there you go. That's true.
So, and I think that's applicable to your music, man. It just. It's so soothing and so great. You've done some covers over your career, and one that I think is the most memorable, at least for me and for so many other people, is
Oh yeah, Can't Hide Love. Right?
Can't Hide Love.
Yes,
What was the inspiration for you to cover that classic by Earth, Wind & Fire?
Well, I was always an Earth, Wind & Fire fan. I mean, ever since the beginning. I mean, I remember the first time I saw them, I think I was 13 years old when I saw them, and they had Ronnie Laws as their saxophone player. That's how far back I remember them. And so I was a fan ever since the beginning, and when I had the opportunity to record the record, that was one of the songs I always kept in mind I'd like to do.
Now, you grew up in New York.
New York City, yes.
And New York, of course, was an historical jazz town, especially back, 40s and 50s. And then you were a product of that aftermath. So what were your influences, man, when you were growing up?
Man, there were so many. I mean, starting with my high school teachers, Larry Greenidge and David Vedder, and then, they directed me. I ultimately had the opportunity to study with Jimmy Heath and Frank Foster and Ernie Wilkins at Jazzmobile, which led into a whole nother direction for me as a jazz player. And then, at the same time, I played R&B music, so it was like kind of New York was kind of had a lot of things going on back then, in the music industry. So I was a part of that whole scene.
Absolutely. And speaking of New York, it is just like a melting pot.
It is, yes.
Of just so much great music and culture, and such diversity, and being in music, and I'm a musician myself, so I understand the feeling of music. Can you speak on that for a second?
Well, I mean, like you said, I think, New York is certainly one of the major cultural centers of the world, particularly back then. Now we, obviously they come from all over, So I think, I was fortunate that a lot of musicians, when I was growing up, found their way to New York City, because that's where the labels were based.
Right.
So, when you think back to the 30s and 40s, starting with Louis Armstrong and all the way through to Bird and Train and all of them, you know, in the neighborhood I grew up in New York, Jamaica, Queens, New York. You know, we had Train living there when I was a kid, James Brown, I mean, Miles Davis lived there, Fats Waller, Count Basie. I mean, you had all these great musicians who were an influence on a lot of us who were another generation, you know, probably 2-3 generations behind.
Wow.
So,
but certainly all of those artists, those legendary artists, those pioneers, if you will, were just incredible, man. And I can hear some of that in you.
Oh yeah,
you know,
thank you.
It's there. So what's in your CD player right now?
Oh gosh, well, you know, I don't have a CD player anymore. I bought a new car, it didn't even come with one, man. Honestly, you know, I got to do it via streaming or something. But you know, I've been listening to quite a bit of different people.
What do you like these days?
You see, you know, I still like what Robert Glasper is doing, some of the stuff he's doing, because he's able to fuse jazz and R&B, you know, along with hip hop. Very unique way.
Yeah.
You know, so he's definitely one of the people I listen to. It's just so many, you know. I've actually been going back to the classics like John Coltrane. I've been listening to a lot of him and reminding myself, you know.
And for you youngsters out there, if you don't have any John Coltrane in your library, you need to.
I highly recommend it. You know,
absolutely, because that's where so much started.
He and Bird and, you know, some of Michael Brecken's stuff I love. I still love it. He's one of our greatest players, American players. Chris Potter. There's quite a few people out there.
All right, man. So what's next for Najee?
Well, we've been on tour. You know, still supporting the album I did 2 years ago, but I have a new record coming out. Hopefully in October if I can get it done.
Okay.
You know, which features Kenny Lattimore, Greg Manning, and a whole bunch of other people. So.
Very good. Well, we certainly look forward to it.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Have you got the name for the project?
It's called Color of the Heart.
Color of the Heart.
Yes.
The new Najee. I need an autograph copy.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So this is done. Okay. All right. You heard it, folks. Listen. Watch out for Najee. How can people connect with you on social media, man?
Very simple. Just Najee Official at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and NajeeOfficial.com is my website.
Man, we're here at Mabel House Barnes Amphitheater in Atlanta, Georgia, getting ready for his concert tonight, along with Brian Culbertson. I'm just gonna lose my mind with all of this great music. The one and only Najee, man. Thank you for hanging out with me for a while. We'll be back. More Smooth Grooves TV.